All right. Hey, I decided to take a little spin off the local heroes programs I've been doing and talk about or put a little spin on it again just to shine the light on somebody else. I want to introduce Dirk Miller, who's our local storm chaser. So, Dirk, why don't you give us a little bit of background and tell us all about yourself?
Well, thanks for having me, Tony. Yeah, I'm Dirk Miller. I've been chasing storms for 35, close to 40 years now. It's been a long time. Most people don't realize I used to chase storms years ago. Kind of kept that hidden because storm chasing at the time was considered a bad thing. So anyway,
Yeah, no, and we've known each other a really long time, and I kind of knew you did that, and I knew that it was a passion of yours. This was kind of, I found out somebody brought it to my attention that April is Tornado Awareness Month, and so I wanted to touch base with you to just kind of sit down with you because there's a lot of misconceptions out there.
there sure is, Tony. A lot of people believe the wrong thing.
Yeah. One of the things that I've talked about, and you and I talked about this a little bit earlier, was the fact that, I'm in Rice Lake. We're kind of in a bowl here. It seems like all the storms go south of us to Chautauqua, maybe north to Hagen. And we kind of dodge that bullet, if you will, because, in theory, the heat rises, it kind of pushes around, or as it comes across the river, St. Croix Falls area, that it splits apart. And that's just probably not true.
You're right. It's not true. However, with that being said, we do have a couple local, not tornado alleys, I'd say more storm alley type things.
Mhm.
One runs through like the southwest part of Barron County up into towards Cumberland and up towards Hagen area.
Right.
The other one runs basically south of Highway 8, more like down by Prairie Farm, then up towards Chautauqua, and then out east from there.
Right. And one of the things that I thought it was really important to bring everybody's attention to this was the fact that how do we prepare for it? Because I'm just as guilty as anybody. As soon as the storm sirens go off, I go, well, I need to run and get milk and bread. And so I'm going to do that anyway because it sounds like it's way south of here. So I'm good.
Well, yeah, well, that's the problem with our warning system too. It's they do it for the whole county. It'd be nice if they did it in quadrants, like I think they're supposed to be doing that. But anyway, no preparedness. Yeah, I would say you should be prepared. I would say have 5 to 10 days worth of food and water.
Right.
You just don't know if you're going to be stuck in an area, especially in a wooded area, and nobody can get back to you for that long. Even
Right.
in the city, if something happened in the city and they can't get to you for 5, 10 days, what are you going to do?
Well,
So
and these things happen, and but the time that we're taping this or videoing this, is a situation where we're going through the coronavirus. And as soon as something came up, everybody ran to the store and stocked up on some essentials. And, let's face it, it was one of those things where you go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And that's why I wanted to sit down with you is to try to say, hey, what can we do? What should we be doing?
well, number one, we shouldn't panic like we did with the coronavirus. Run out and buy tons of stuff that we're not going to use for a couple of years. You need to prepare. Granted, that's a plus. You need to sit down with your family, friends, whoever's living with you, and develop a plan. And then when the warnings are issued, stick to that plan. Before that, get the food and water. Like I say, 5 to 10 days should be enough to carry you through until somebody can come out and help you.
Right. And I know that's one of the things that we talk about a lot is being prepared, that type of thing. I mean, let's face it, when the coronavirus hit, we people ran to the store and there was like a shortage of toilet paper. And so they panicked and they picked up what they thought was essential. And so people were picking up toilet paper and beer, of course. So they were, we wanted to make sure that we could survive or get through this. And, it wasn't necessary, but also we've never been through these things before. Now the storms come every year. We deal with this. Everybody in our area has dealt with this. And so how do we get more prepared for it?
Well, we know we face storms every year, and I guess I'm somewhat guilty of this myself, but again, I'm never here. But anyway, um, in the springtime, develop the plan, rehearse it. Excuse me.
It's all right.
Get out, and prepare, buy canned foods, whatever you have to do to last 5 to 10 days. That's the biggest thing, Tony. People need to be prepared for things that could go wrong. I'm not saying go out and panic buy because there's a storm coming. You're not going to know that. You're not going to have enough time to do it anyway,
Right. Well, like I said, I mean, I'm just as guilty. I mean, the sirens are going off, and you check your phone because now that is one of the things that comes through on our phones, and we have a weather app, and now all of a sudden we're experts, and just not true. I mean, we
No,
really need to leave it to someone like yourself that's been doing it for a number of years. We need to get inside. Again, it's not that the wind is blowing, it's what it's blowing. And so that's the problem. I mean, we got power lines down and everything else, and just for our own safety.
exactly. I mean, you don't know if that power line's live or not. And you touch it, well, you're not going to be alive if that line is live. And chances are it could be. When you're outside, wind starts picking up, you don't know what's going to be blown in that wind. I've seen damage where a nail went right through a tree. I mean, it went right through, like somebody shot a bullet through it, and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, that could be you projectiles going through.
Right.
Is it worth it?
Absolutely. And, we talk about between Cambridge and Tech, they got hit really hard. A few years ago, that storm went really from Prairie Farm to Conrath. And again, I work in one of the businesses that we deal with this. When the storm goes through, we have to call where claims are coming into us. But we literally had to look at that path that came through. We go into the office early and made sure that people were okay. We needed to know, if what do they need and that kind of thing. But that's why I wanted to sit down, was to say, okay, what can we do ahead of time? And again, it sounds like a plan. We were brought up going, okay, if there's a fire, what do we do? And we talked to our kids and we made these plans. The storm, we just kind of have dealt with it on a case by case basis.
Exactly right. And sadly, when a warning is issued by the Weather Service, um, it may be only affecting a small part of the county. It could affect a large part, but let's say it's only affecting a small part, like down by Turtle Lake, and it's moving southeast. Well, if a person's not paying attention to the warning in the direction that storm's moving, they're going to be up here in Rice Lake or wherever, and they're going to go, well, the Weather Service cried wolf again, no storm, it all stayed south.
Right.
And people get complacent to that, and then every time there's a warning, oh, it's not going to hit, so then they go about their daily routine.
Well, like you
And
said, and we get into this thing where, opinion is it doesn't hit in Rice Lake, that heat rises and it goes around us. But really, the east side of Rice Lake gets hit all the time. All the
you're
time.
right. East side seems to get banged up pretty good. And there's something going on scientifically there. I don't know exactly what it is, but there is something happening. Again, I can't explain it. It's one of those things where why is the storms not really affecting the city, just east, or the
Right.
eastern part?
Well,
Eventually,
yeah.
eventually there will be a tornado that rips through this town. Will it be in my lifetime, your lifetime? I don't know.
Well, and it does. When it does hit here, a portion of Rice Lake, it'll settle down in here or set down in here, and then it does. It's almost the reverse effect. It seems like it can't move out quick enough, and it really kind of settles. We've been around. You and I have been around long enough to see. A few years ago, with the Chautauqua Cameron area getting hit, Ladysmith being hit. And then we talked about really Siren being hit, and that
Yep.
wiped out the entire town. And if I remember correctly, there's still a boat that's wrapped around a tree up there. It's a small boat, but it's wrapped around a tree just to remind people of the devastation these things can do.
Oh, yeah, I guess I haven't seen that boat lately. I'll have to go back up and take a look at that. But Yeah, these storms, and it's funny you brought up the devastation of these storms, because normally I would see this type of devastation down in the southern plains when I used to chase down there all the time. To see them up in northern Wisconsin or northwestern part of Wisconsin and in Barron County itself,
Mhm.
it's unreal. These storms are getting more intense year by year, it seems like, or every few years. The tornado that hit Chautauqua, that was actually a record-setting tornado for Wisconsin. Um, we don't have that up here. Well, we do now, but
Right. Well, and it wasn't that long ago that, like you said, the straight line winds affected Turtle Lake, Cumberland area, and there was so much rain with that. The ground was soft, and trees
yep.
were tipping right over with the roots showing. It's amazing how or what we went through. It wasn't
Uh,
classified as a tornado, but again, it doesn't have to be to do that much damage. It's just incredible.
you're right. Straight line winds, and it can do just as much or more damage than a tornado can. Tornadoes, for the most part, are normally just isolated. They could be up to a mile or so wide. Um, Granted that, but still overall, it's a smaller circulation.
Hmm.
Um, in fact, straight line winds that hit Barron County here and Polk County too. Don't forget about them guys.
Right.
There we did find tornadoes embedded in that line of thunderstorms when we went out and did the surveys and stuff. Um, and they were rain wrapped. You're not going to see them until it's too late.
Right.
And why would you want to be out in that storm? I could tell you a story about that storm. I was just a mile north of Barron at the time. And by the time it was all said and done, I had no way of getting out. I was trapped. And I finally found a road that somebody was out there with a chainsaw and a skid steer clearing it. My only way out, so it was bad all over.
Well, and like I said, it would be incredibly difficult for us to name all the locations. But again,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
we're up in this area, and you drive through Barron, and you can, or maybe south of Barron, but you can still see the ramifications of all of these storms and all these trees down, and it's crazy that we survive all these things with very limited um, um, damage to our well-being. I mean, but emotionally and everything else, it's frightening that you talk to some people that have gone through those things. I talked to a young man that went through it, and he lives south east of Rice Lake when a storm went through, and he's still to this day, and he's a young man, but when he was a kid he went through it, and
Yep.
it's just incredibly difficult. We can replace cars and cars and homes and everything else. Once these trees fall down, we can't replace lives. And so that's why I wanted to sit down with you.
Yeah, no, we can't replace lives at all. And some of the stories that I hear when we're out looking at the damage and stuff, it's heart wrenching. I mean, it's nothing like what I seen down south, but it's getting that way up here. And then people wonder why I don't sleep at night. Well, there you go. But no, the life you can't replace. Everything else is replaceable.
Right.
So if a person doesn't look out for their own life, what do you do?
You're right. And that's really, like I said, I wanted to sit down and say, hey, how can we prepare? We used to think that grandma putting the canned goods or the canning, throughout the year, that was kind of like, oh, that's grandma and that's what she does. But she went through this and she understands that things happen, and now we have that. But again, as we were talking a little bit about the coronavirus and some other things, we're not used to it. We're so used to just going to the store, pick up what we need, and when all of those things stop, we panic, and we really need to be more prepared. Not that I would say, okay, we got to go do these, a prep as much as I've seen other people do, but we certainly have to be more prepared. And I think communication with your family and everything else is one of the biggest keys.
And the best thing too, when a tornado or a severe thunderstorm watch is issued, normally they are put out roughly 2 to 3 to 4 hours before the event may even unfold. A
Right.
watch enlightens everybody. Okay, there's a potential that the atmosphere is going to get real grumpy here later.
Right.
People should start being prepared, then start getting their plans, figured out. Well, they should have already had them figured out, but they should get ready to implement them.
Right.
If you have to run to the store to get something, I guess that's fine. I'm not recommending that. That should already be taken care of,
Right.
When the warning's put out, yeah, the storm is here or it's coming. So you better get in your safe shelter,
Well, I believe that people are safer now than they've ever been because we do have the apps on our phone. We do have social media, and we know that Facebook is a little slower on that. And
Yep.
we talked about earlier that maybe Twitter is a better way to go because, and really, I mean, where would you say we should get our main source for when something is coming?
The Weather Service is a good source for that, whether it's weather.gov or if you have a weather radio. As soon as they push that button in the office to send that warning out, it's coming through.
Right.
So that's one really good way of doing it. Social media, it's good, but the problem is it's slow, especially Facebook. Everybody's, posting whatever. Twitter seems to be a little bit better.
I'm guilty of doing that.
well, me too, but
I post a lot of weird stuff on Facebook, but that's a whole other story.
I think we all kind of do once in a while, but me, I like to go off my little rants about things. But anyway, Twitter's pretty fast also.
Right. Well, and really for years we were told, driving on the freeway, hey, get under the underpass or the overpass, whatever you want to say, and get up, tight. Now it's a wind tunnel, they say. Don't do that. So I don't know. You tell me. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, stay away from the overpasses because the wind will funnel through there and it will get stronger as it's going through. So yeah, stay out of there. It's not safe.
I know, but it's like everything else in life. They tell you it's okay to eat eggs. It's not okay to eat eggs. It's
exactly.
And
it's another 5 years that'll change.
Yeah, nobody argues about that. Anybody wants to take away bacon, though, we're going to have some serious issues.
Well, sadly, I can't eat bacon no more, and I miss it.
There you go. Well, we certainly aren't. I'm not going to give dieting tips at all. No way.
Me neither. Me neither.
But like I said, I really appreciate your time, Dirk. I wanted to sit down and try to help people prepare a little bit better, where to get information. Now, you're saying, I mean, you do have a Facebook page that's solely for the storms, if you will.
Yeah, what I do, I have a forecasting page for Barron County, and basically I make my own forecast as a storm chaser. That's what we do, and I post it publicly. Then when warnings are coming out or special weather statements are coming out, I have a moderator that will forward them on, so everybody is kept up with it. Yeah, my forecast may not always be right, but I'm trying. So, and it's for specifically Barron County. It does not include any counties around us.
Sure.
That way I can kind of keep it on a personal level with people. I do post storm pictures, damage pictures, and video on that site too, along with my personal site.
All right.
So,
well, like I said, it's Tornado Awareness Month here in April, and I just wanted to try to sit down with you, get some expert opinion on there. And I know that one of the biggest things you talk about is don't run outside with your phone.
Tony, one day I knew the storms were coming, right? And I happened to be in the city of Rice Lake. I came in because I needed gas. The sirens start going off. So it's like, well, I got to get out of town. I'm starting to head out of town, and I'm seeing people outside with their phones, and I'm going, oh my gosh, people, you better get to cover.
Right.
Excuse me.
Oh.
It's like, don't do that, people. I'm out there chasing, I'm out there doing it. And people look at me like I'm a thrill seeker or whatever. And truly I'm not. I'm out there to help get that warning out. If it's not already out, I'm out there helping people. If I come across damage and there's somebody trapped and I know it, I'll get in there and do what I can do until Barron County shows up, or Rice Lake PD or somebody, can help me. But yeah, stay inside. When a warning goes off, get inside, get in the basement. Even if it is a straight line wind, don't take that laying down. I mean, it's just as dangerous as tornadoes.
I would agree. And that's like I said, it's one of the reasons I decided to bring you on. I know you've been doing this for years and you're a
Oh, gee.
professional at what you do. And, it doesn't, I understand why people try to get that, a picture of it or whatever, but you're not going to be able to share that picture with you if your phone's in the neighbor's yard because you got blown over by some whatever. But,
Exactly.
again, we make a little bit of, we take it a little bit lightly. And I was just as guilty as going, it's down south, we'll be fine. It's not. It's not, because
Yeah,
these things
it's
shift all the time. And, it's great that we are sitting down and talking about it, because I really want to just bring some kind of awareness to it. I really appreciate all your effort over a period of time and doing this for years and years. And I just wanted to kind of, shine a little bit of light on you.
and I thank you, Tony. I appreciate that,
Right.
and I hope people that watch this will get a better understanding that the severe storms and the tornadoes are nothing to play with. I know everybody wants that picture to post on Facebook and become famous, um, or they're thinking they're going to make money off of it. You only do that as if you're in the line that I'm in, and that's a crapshoot, basically.
Right.
Video don't sell, I don't make nothing. So, but I'm not out there for that purpose. Um,
No, I know,
so
and I understand. I mean, like I said, we've been friends a really long time, or I've known you a really long time, and one of the things that I think is it's just a passion of yours, and let people do what they do best, and really stay away, protect your children, protect your person, because you never know what's going to happen, and we want to try to bring that to light. I know that there's people that live, let's say, in a mobile homes and that kind of thing. They need to know where they're going to go.
exactly, if they don't have a shelter designated for them, they have to have a plan. And as soon as a warning is issued, or even before or whatever, they need to get out of there. It's not a safe place. We all remember seeing the pictures and the video of the Shatek damage. I mean, it was heart wrenching.
Right.
I
Absolutely.
hope more people think about that when a warning's issued, that they need to be acting on that plan. And in a trailer park, if there's no shelter available, um, you have to have a way out. You have to have a way to a sturdy structure.
Right.
So
I would agree. And thank you very much, Dirk, for your time. I appreciate it. I know that, like I said, your intentions of doing this and my intentions were just to try to prepare people and, really stop them from doing or going down the wrong path of and trying to and having the misinformation and that kind of thing. It's important that we prepare and listen for the warnings.
one other thing, Tony, after a devastating storm rolls through, stay home.
Yeah.
Don't go out. Don't. Oh my gosh, the sightseers, the onlookers.
Yeah.
You have no reason being down there. Stay away from those areas. Let the professionals do their jobs.
Right.
I mean, anybody's going, well, you're down there. Well, yeah, I'm down there because I've already been there,
Right.
as the storm came through. But that's the other thing. And I think, law enforcement, EMTs, all them people will appreciate that. Give
I
them
agree.
room to work.
Yeah, give them room to work. I know that that is one of the things that the sheriff's department always talks about, and as long as we're talking about that, there are a ton of people right now that are on the front lines, protecting us from the coronavirus and doing their part. They're still working hard, and let's face it, they're right in the front lines, and I appreciate them all the time. I try to post some things on Facebook and other things like that to show my appreciation, but it's we're dealing with some stuff we don't know anything about.
Yep.
We're getting a lot of misinformation on it, but more importantly, you want to just try to come together. And this is something that happens every year. The storms come through every year, and we just need to protect each other and prepare for it.
Exactly. And like Chris says, our sheriff, our wonderful sheriff there, we're Barron County strong. We've gotten through other things. We'll get through this virus. We'll get through more storms. We're good. This county is good.
Yeah.
We just all have to heed the warnings, you know, when the warnings are issued. So
I would completely agree. Thank you, Dirk, for your time.
thanks, Tony.